There's this Sightseeing Peter does it earlier. He'll do it. Bet you anything. So if it's something straight. He does the controls on out of the cab, he does.
He can't be the end. Now we're going to go a different way again.
Probably. Get to talk to Peter when we get off. Oh, I see. Oh, unless he's just going to the bin, then he'll go back in. So I might as well keep... Oh, he's going back in.
Hello and welcome aboard the City Sightseeing Bournemouth tour. Your route today takes us to Poole Quay via Sandbanks. Please remain seated whilst the bus is moving and ring the bell if you wish to get off at any of the stops along the route. We look forward to showing you the best of the local area and telling you about the history and the people who helped shape it into what it is today. Be sure to hold on to your ticket, which entitles you to 10% off any other city sightseeing tour operated in over 100 locations around the world. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask the driver, who will only be too happy to help. But please only do this when the bus has stopped.
GDZ, It's not VBM today, it's...
As we head over the overpass, we see Bournemouth Pier jutting out into the English Channel to our right.
Oh,
The beach is 9.5 miles long, stretching from Sandbanks to Hindusbury Head in the east.
that is the same mark
To our
that we
left
saw
are
when
the
it was
lower
Dave
gardens
Little.
of the Bourne Stream, from which the town gets its name. The name comes from the Scottish burn, meaning a large stream or small river. Bournemouth prides itself with its wonderful gardens, the local parks department having its own nurseries, and a team of dedicated gardeners and greenkeepers tending to more than 1,000 hectares of green space, roughly 20% of the town. Coming up on our right is the Royal Bath Hotel, the very first hotel in Bournemouth. It was opened on the day of Queen Victoria's coronation in June 1838. As we travel down Westover Road, to our left is the Art Deco Pavilion Theatre, now nearly 100 years old. It hosts a back-to-back programme of plays, musicals, concerts and comedy, and is also the home to Pavilion Dance Southwest, an inspirational charity that has, in the last 10 years, allowed more than 500,000 people from every section of society to experience the joy of dance. Look up to the right for more Art Deco buildings which used to house a number of hotels, an ice rink and 2 cinemas. One, the Gaumont, saw the Beatles play a 6-night residency in the summer of 1963, just before Beatlemania took the band around the world. The same year, the Gaumont also hosted the Rolling Stones and Cliff Richard and the Shadows. Bournemouth Square is really considered the centre of the town, with the main department stores and meeting places. Now pedestrianised, for many years it was the main intersection where 7 roads from the north, the east and west met. A number of the original buildings surrounding the square were lost due to bombing during the Second World War, but nothing like the extent of Southampton to the east and Plymouth to the west. Through the centre, you'll see the garden stretching back inland in one direction and down to the seafront in the other, making a mile-long green corridor along the Bourne stream, which gives Bournemouth its name. Former Prime Minister Winston Churchill holidayed in Bournemouth as a child, where he would sail a model boat in the stream.
Why does he have to come during the day, Aunt Lottie? Couldn't he have done it during the night? I won't give enough space.
I won't give enough space. Oh, he has to turn back. That's not idiots.
Who's got pee? Who's got pee? Who's got pee? Why?
Shortly coming up on our left is BH2, the new cinema and restaurant complex. But this was once the site of the town's bus station, which was so large it had 2 levels. Between the 1930s and the 1970s, the bus station was buzzing with holidaymakers during the summer months. However, it was badly damaged by fire during 1976. Although around 80 buses on the upper level managed to be driven out, 16 coaches on the lower level were destroyed, and the building was finally demolished in 1982. When we leave the square and head back up the hill towards the seafront, look out for a white turreted building on your left, called the Royal Exeter Hotel. It's on the site of the very first house which was built in the town by the founder of Bournemouth, Lewis Tregonwell. For many years this area was open heathland, but by the 1790s smugglers were using the area to move their contraband from the cliff tops and chines. Tregonwell was stationed here as a captain of militia, and his job was to defend against a possible French invasion and to also help combat the smugglers. The area's most famous smuggler was Isaac Gulliver. In 1810, after Tregonwell had retired from service as a Dorset Ranger, he brought his wife Henrietta here, and she fell in love with the sea views. They bought the land from Sir George Taps and built their summer residence.
It's Z1! It's... Dinner!
As we travel up Priory Road, we head up onto the West Cliff. This area has an extremely wide choice of hotels and guest houses. There is something for everyone, from young person's budget accommodation costing £20 a night, through to the very expensive and very plush Marriott Highcliffe, the choice of politicians attending party conferences, standing on the left just above a lift to the beach. The very big investments in more hotels, bars and restaurants reflects Bournemouth's potential as the South Coast's leading resort, and the fact that the area is very busy on weekends throughout the year. At the next roundabout, notice the mature pine trees that dominate the street scene from here on. 200 years ago, Bournemouth looked very different. It would have been bare and sandy heathland, like much of the New Forest to the east and Dorset to the west. But then landowners started planting more than 3 million Scots pines. This was partly to replenish the country's timber stocks after the wars with the French, and partly to cash in on the supposed health benefits of the sea air blowing through the pine needles. By the 1880s, the transformation was complete. The Dorset writer Thomas Hardy called Bournemouth Sandbourne in his novel Tess of the D'Urbervilles, and described it as a Mediterranean lounging place on the English Channel. Truer and truer with our special microclimate and global warming.
Drive deeper into the pine woods along a purpose-built scenic drive with amazing views of the coastline. If the weather is clear, a fine view is coming up on the left of the white chalk cliffs of Old Harry at the end of the Isle of Purbeck. The road follows valleys called chines, transformed by the erosion of the sand and gravel into lush microclimates that entice the visitor to explore. We're following Durley Chine, and we will cross over Middle Chine and Alum Chine before meeting more of them later. These chines provided cover for smugglers moving contraband inland. Smuggling was not so much a cottage industry as serious organised crime. To avoid paying tax on drink and tobacco from France, smuggling depended on gangs of local men to receive the goods from boats and hide them if required before wider distribution. The area was littered with tunnels and secret chambers to stash the contraband. The biggest boss of them all was Isaac Gulliver, who led a small army decked out in his own livery. When his home was demolished, it was found to contain a secret room only accessible through a door 10 feet up a chimney.
The bus will be slowing down to cross some bridges that cross the chines. The most famous of the bridges was a rustic walkway where an accident occurred in 1892 that could have dramatically changed the whole course of history. The future Prime Minister and wartime leader, Winston Churchill, was a teenager on holiday with his younger brother and cousin. They chased him along the bridge. When he tried to jump across to a fir tree, he lost his grip and fell 30 feet to the ground below. He was unconscious for 3 days and bedbound for 3 months.
Provide a microclimate that allows plants from Australia, New Zealand, South Africa, Asia and South America to flourish. These award-winning tropical gardens were first established in the 1920s and replanted in 1996. Follow the well-marked plant trail through the yuccas and agaves, the plant from Mexico that is the basic ingredient of tequila. The name of this chine is alum chine, called after a substance that was produced here 400 years ago from minerals found in the sand. Alum was used to fix the colour of dyed cloth and for softening leather in the tanning process. Mining didn't carry on for long, but some claim that the first chemical industry in Britain was born in this area.
Resident of the Chines was Robert Louis Stevenson, the adventure story writer best known for Treasure Island. He came to Bournemouth for his health and lived close to here for 3 years in the 1880s, producing The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Kidnapped. The success of these works allowed him to travel to Samoa in search of even better health, but he died there in 1894. He called his house here Skerryvore, after a Scottish lighthouse built by his family. Skerryvore was destroyed during the Second World War, but you can visit a memorial garden on its site.
As we come into Westbourne, we pass elegant houses and reach an affluent area with many small independent shops, posh boutiques, delis and restaurants. Westbourne is known to its residents as the Village and is admired for the friendly atmosphere of its streets and arcades. It has such a great reputation that people come from all over Bournemouth and Poole to eat and drink here. Westbourne is also home to some of the best pubs in Bournemouth, a great place to sample the very best of British beer, real ale from local producers like Hall and Woodhouse, or the Ringwood Brewery.
To the large roundabout on the right called County Gates. These days you can see the offices of an insurance company, Liverpool and Victoria in the centre, but for many years this was the boundary between the counties of Dorset to the west and Hampshire to the east. In 1974, Bournemouth and Christchurch were incorporated into Dorset, boosting the size of the small county enormously. Today, roughly half of Dorset's population of over 700,000 lives in the Poole-Bournemouth conurbation.
Probably just a short shower, it'll pass it. Yeah.
We are now travelling down the avenue. Many of the mature pine trees either side of the road were here before Bournemouth existed as a town. The sandy, acidic soil, characteristic of the area, provides very little nutrients for crop plants. The plants that do thrive, gorse, bracken and heather, can still be found in many little pockets in people's gardens, the edges of parks and along the top of the cliff. Look out for the yellow gorse bushes. Warmed by the sun, the small, shiny, edible flowers give off a sweet smell, reminiscent of coconuts.
Oh, it's not too bad today. Oh, key and size. Every time it's Peter working, we'll go on Peter's, we'll go on.
Oh, we're heading towards an ice weather. We're heading. And it's 8% it gets to 888. Oh, but ambulance!
Honest.
Have you learned?
Next stop, Branksome Chine. Hop off the bus here to get straight onto the beach. There is a seafront promenade, and if you turn left, you can walk 1.5 miles or so, and you will reach Bournemouth Pier. Turn right, and you can walk just over 1 mile until you reach Sandbanks. If you walk straight ahead, you can enjoy a blue flag beach with some of the cleanest bathing water in England. Also on the beach is an elegant restaurant that is especially known for its variety of fresh fish daily. It's in an Art Deco building of the 1930s, which housed the country's first solarium, offering artificial sunshine under ultraviolet lamps all year round.
Oh, it's stopping. Oh. Yeah. It's stopping. Oh, listen to the music.
Power medic.
If you look to the right as we climb the hill, you can see the start of one of the longest chines, Branksome Chine. It stretches inland for 1.5 miles and is said to have been a regular route for smugglers as they headed inland. One visitor who appreciated the walks here was the poet John Betjeman. He wrote, "Walk the asphalt paths of Branksome Chine, in resin-scented air like strong Greek wine." The houses either side of the Chine have some of the biggest plots in the area, affording maximum privacy, making them very desirable and very expensive. With many homes selling for over £1 million, electric gates and swimming pools and supercars are the norm. In this area of Poole, comparisons with Beverly Hills are not unwarranted.
At the top of the hill is an exclusive neighbourhood called Canford Cliffs. If you wish to visit Compton Acres Gardens, be ready to ring the bell in the village and hop off just after it. After a 3-minute walk, you'll be wandering around 7 distinct ornamental gardens, including an Italian garden and a Japanese garden, with spectacular views across Poole Harbour. Someone has worked out that the average wealth of the residents of Canford Cliffs is within the top 2% of people in the country. If you look carefully, you can see some signs. Rolls Royces are commoner on the streets here than anywhere else. A hairdressing salon offers a valet parking service, and the luxurious cafes are designed so that you can both see and be seen if you wish. Canford Cliffs hit the headlines when a bank decided not to allow clients to use its branch unless they had an income of £100,000 a year. But that did not affect the village's reputation for a very friendly atmosphere. After the village, enjoy the gradual descent towards Poole Harbour, with many fabulous new houses being built on either side.
At the bottom of the hill, we'll be returning to sea level on reaching the shore of Poole Harbour. This is the second largest natural harbour in the world, after Sydney Harbour in Australia. You'll see that it is popular with all types of boat owners, and particularly windsurfers. The harbour has double tides, which means that there is a useful amount of high water to sail in during each 24-hour period. If you want to drive around the harbour, it's about 25 miles, but if you were to follow the shoreline closely, it would be about 5 times longer. The biggest island in the middle of the harbour is Brownsea Island, one of 5 islands in the harbour. In and out of sight between Brownsea and the Purbeck Hills in the distance is Fursey Island, and towards the west are Green, Round and Long Island. Poole lies over to the right, and so does Wareham, sandwiched between 2 rivers emptying into the back of the harbour. They are the River Froome and the River Piddle. That's a name which is back in favour after the starchy Victorian times when it was sometimes called the River Trent. An easy boat trip from Poole Quay will take you to Wareham for fish and chips on its quay or a walk around its Saxon defences. If you look between the houses on the left, you can see the beach. We're on a thin spit of land between Poole Harbour to our right and the English Channel to our left.
Not hail like marriage, it's just crap. Not bad enough to go in the bottom, it's not. Clouds are getting brighter now, we're getting.
The tip of the Sandbanks Peninsula has been called the Monte Carlo of the South Coast and has one of the highest land values in the world, just behind Tokyo and Manhattan. Until the 1920s, this place was covered in grass-infested sand dunes, but by 1999, plots were being bought and sold for more than £1 million. The most sought-after ones have water frontage, often with their own landing stage. This is a place where a developer might pay £5 million for a plot of land, tear down a perfectly good new house on it, and put up a steel and glass super home selling for £10 million. As well as houses, there are a couple of hotels, shops, and places to eat, including one of Ringstein's restaurants. The former Beatle John Lennon bought a house here for his Aunt Mimi in 1965, and he would often visit to escape the limelight and the screaming fans. She continued to live here until her death in 1991. The following year, the house was bulldozed, and today a new house sits on the site.
Coming up on the left is where cars queue for the ferry across to the perfect sandy beach of Shell Bay and the rest of the Isle of Purbeck. It only takes about 3 minutes and is great for pedestrians and cyclists too. Because of the very strong tidal currents that run through the harbour entrance, the ferry pulls itself along on 2 large chains. When the chains are worn out, they're used by local fishermen to provide moorings in the harbour. Beyond the ferry, we come to more fabulous properties, many lived in by well-known people such as Harry Redknapp. Harry's a local treasure in these parts because in his time he's managed Bournemouth, Southampton and Portsmouth.
Brownsea Island is across the water to our left. It's very popular with walkers, birdwatchers and theatre goers where the annual open-air productions take place. Brownsea Castle at the left-hand end of the island is leased to the John Lewis Partnership, the owners of the Waitrose supermarket chain and the John Lewis department stores. It's used for training and as a retreat for staff to stay in and enjoy sharing it with the resident peacocks and red squirrels after the day trippers have gone home. The island is one of the few places in southern England where red squirrels survive, because grey squirrels have never been introduced to the island. The island used to have a clay mine and pottery, but all activity had ended by the time the last private owners, the Bonham Christie family, left in the early 1960s. Brownsea is famous as the home of the Scouting movement. Scouting began in 1907 when Robert Baden-Powell held the first Scouting camp on the island. He was a British Army general during the Boer War and saw a need for a new type of training in practical skills and leadership. Currently, over 31 million boys and girls in 216 countries are Scouts and Guides. You can see a bronze statue of Robert Baden-Powell on Poole Quay, and Poole Quay is the place to get a boat across to Brownsea Island. Please ask the driver for more details.
Behind Brownsea Island sits Fursey Island and the Witch Farm oil field. It was developed by BP in in the late 1980s, and at its peak it was Western Europe's largest onshore oil field, producing over 100,000 barrels of oil a day. The oil field is in one of the country's most environmentally sensitive areas. The drillers used a directional drilling technique to tap into reservoirs extending right about 10 miles under Poole Bay to the area in front of Bournemouth Pier. The oil and gas extracted are pumped through an underground pipeline to the Fawley oil refinery near Southampton.
They specialise in amphibious
God
operations
we
using many subs and small boats for intelligence gathering and counter-terrorism operations.
Also on the water, but trained to save lives rather than to take them, are lifeboats from the Royal National Lifeboat Institution's headquarters and college, which are also in Poole. The RNLI is a charity that has saved lives at sea around the coasts of Great Britain since its foundation in 1824, and its lifeboats, whose crew members are mostly unpaid volunteers, help more than 15,000 people every year. If you see bright orange boats, they could well be lifeboats being tested or crew being trained, and the local authorities support RNLI lifeguard stations on Poole and Bournemouth's 7 miles of sandy beaches, helping you to swim in the clean and safe conditions which have won the European Blue Flag Award over 20 times since the 1980s, more than any other British resort.
right, and now we're beginning to get close again to shallow tidal inlets and reclaimed land on the left. The road narrows to go under a high railway bridge carrying the main railway line between Weymouth and London Waterloo. It takes about 2 hours by train to London. Some people commute there from this area every day. Further west at Wareham, the line used to connect with a branch line to Swanage, but it was taken up in the early 1970s. Soon after, a group of enthusiastic local volunteers joined together to reopen a short section of the track to steam trains. They've been so successful that special steam trains from London can now run occasionally between London and Swanage, and there are hopes of a permanent connection to the rest of the rail network.
Mum, on Monday, oh no, I was thinking do sightseeing again to when that time to July flexi week, we won't have to do. Mum, on Monday, should we do the sightseeing again? So we won't have time to do it in the July flexi week. We won't have to do sightseeing again, so we won't have time to do it. I think it'll be ankles on Monday. Yeah, because we won't be able to do it on the July flexi week. It'll be ankles. It'll be VPM on Monday. It'll be. I'll ask Peter if he's working Monday.
I think it's definitely dry all day Monday.
Porky and so much. This is not a single reason.
What's Porky and so much?
Oh yeah, 'cause we will have time to do something.
Sightseeing.
There'll be the morning ones. It'll be the station we get it from on Monday.
And in the evening, it'll be ambulance spotting.
Sightseeing again. Nice company. I don't think it's a good song. It's on next. Oh, there's this one.
It's some Mondays.
No, I reckon it'll be ankles Monday. So we'll see ankle on Monday.
Peter was on last Monday.
It was ankle. Today it might as well be the Z ones. What I said. Swear.
Well, we had more time to do this.
So I'm glad it was not the 12, it was the Z, but I'm glad it was not. Won't film Father, only pizza.
Oh, Trey.
Anyway, it's less busy, so I see in it's that.
We'd have to pay for a sequel if we want to get ankles. We'd have to.
Yeah, we will.
Why is it now? Sweet.
He plays different music, Pete. I mean, is it ain't got a don't see your horn.
We will shortly be slowing down to enter Poole Park, but first we pass Poole Civic Centre, which used to be the home of Poole Borough Council until it joined up with Bournemouth and Christchurch in 2019 with the formation of BCP Council. centre was built from Portland limestone in 1931 in the Art Deco style. On the outside, just below the cast iron and lead guttering, are 24 superb sculptured stone reliefs depicting historical events from the earliest times to the 20th century. Poole Park was constructed on land given to people of Poole by Lord Wimborne. Covering more than 100 acres, the area used to be marshland and grazing meadows and was opened by Edward, Prince of Wales in 1890. Known as the People's Park, the area is well used by locals and visitors alike. If you fancy stretching your legs, there is a flat half-hour walk from here to Poole Quay.
The Romans made a supply base in the harbour when they invaded 2,000 years ago. But until Norman times, 1,000 years later, Wareham was the more important port. In the Middle Ages, Poole suffered raids by Spanish and French attackers and gained some prosperity when it won the right to export wool, a product so vital to the country's economy that even today the Speaker of the House of Lords has a symbolic sack of wool as his throne. After the new colonies in North America had been founded, Poole had lucrative trade exporting all kinds of provisions, including tobacco pipes made of clay from around the harbour. But the real money spinner was trading dried cod from Newfoundland to the Catholic countries of Europe to meet their demand for fish, in exchange for wine and olive oil from the Mediterranean. This made local merchants vastly rich and explains the opulent houses you'll see in the High Street and on the quay in Poole. But 200 years ago, other ports took over this trade, and Poole dwindled in importance as its harbour proved too shallow for the new generation of ships.
Thought it worked mental, ain't it? Oh no, it's stopping again now. Only a very quick shower again, on it. Maybe we'll move to the bottom floor on the way back if it's still like
to our
this.
left is the main Poole bus station, and to our right is the Lighthouse, Poole's Centre for the Arts.
But it's tomorrow.
Housing a variety of different performance spaces, it is one of the
The
largest
bin,
art
and
centres
I
outside
bet it-
of London. As well as being home to the world-famous Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra, it has also hosted many famous bands from Oasis to U2, and singers Kate Bush and Tina Turner. Michael Jackson even played the venue early in his career as part of the Jackson 5. In front of us is the large Barclays House, the iconic building that dominated the centre
Ain't
for
even
more than
meant,
40 years
ain't not even
and,
met off
at its
this
peak,
set, but
employed
ain't
more
not
than
even.
2,500 people. Locally, if you did not work there yourself, you would almost certainly know someone who did.
If the weather's still like this,
To
we
our
go to
left
Poole
is the
Quay, we'll
Dolphin
move
Shopping
downstairs.
Centre, formerly the Poole Arndale Centre. one of 23 Arndale centres built by property developers Arnold Harbour Park and South Chippendale. The Arndale being a portmanteau of their names, Arnold and Chippendale. Whilst never being celebrated for its architectural
Monday it
merits,
won't rain, Monday.
our shopping mall to be
Got all red back. Now it's dry, and now it's...
As we travel over Towngate Bridge, we cross the main London Waterloo to Weymouth railway line and have views across to Holmes Bay to our right, a large area of Poole Harbour which is reached by the narrow channel that runs in front of Poole Quay. This area is known as the site of a windmill, benefiting from winds coming in from the southwest across the harbour. At one time, seen as a miserable and desolate place where nothing would grow,
once
hence
again.
the name
Now
Wonder.
it's...
We will now be passing on our right a number of buildings of the RNLI. The RNLI, one of the country's biggest charities, has its headquarters based here in Poole. In addition to the central administration, this is also where new lifeboats are designed,
If
tested
it's
and put
Peter
through
on
their sea
Monday, it'll
trials.
be VBM and
College where
GDZ.
crewmen
It'll
can learn the
be...
vital skills that allow them
Both
to
of
go out to
them,
all weathers
it'll be.
and help mariners in distress.
I can ask Peter when we get off his work in Monday. I can ask. Imagine if it was Mark, it was
Artificial thunder and lightning.
Then it'd be a
Also allows crews to practice their
different
capsize drills with
and
full-size inshore
Yeah,
lifeboats that can be tipped over on purpose and then
and
righted
if it
again
was
all inside the training pool.
Oh, so music is young, Bob. Sausage. But until pizza, I dropped all the chips and He is very friendly. Any walk in Sam makes a store about dropping all of there.
We will soon be at Poole Quay
Yeah,
where
and
the
a
bus
bus
will
will
turn
turn
left
left.
before stopping outside the Thistle Hotel. Please remain seated until the bus has come to a stop. If you have a bus and boat combination ticket, please head straight to the Blue City Cruises kiosk back along the quayside to
Poole
reserve your
Quay will
place on your
move to the
preferred
drive
sailing.
for a little bit. We'll
There are lots of
move.
things to see and do on Poole Quay, but be sure to take a walk through the old town and see some of the historic buildings, with the oldest,
We'll
Scaffold's
move.
Court, next to the Poole Museum,
late,
dating
though?
back to the 13th
No.
century. The bus will leave from this stop on the hour, every hour, and the last departure of the day is at 6
I
o'clock.
reckon it'll keep
If the
raining
quay is
heavily,
closed later
so we'll
for an
move to
event,
the bottom
please
of
use
it.
the
Oh,
alternative
well,
stop
no.
by the multi-storey Quay Visitors Car Park.
So it's going to keep doing this because it's going to... We're nearly at a main stop now, we're near. It's too busy. Do you want to quickly go to... Well, we're going to the bottom. Yeah. Loud music. On it. Is it oh, it's dancing. This is the half. I know it's... Could have been to the shelter bit. If it was VBJ, we could have been to the shelter bit. Move to the shelter. Oh, GDZ's layout's different. GDZ. And it's... Oh my god. Let me stop fit. Rain on.
Go on, get in. Get in.
Can't dry the eye. You have to carry yachts. It'll leave in a minute anyway. It'll leave. Mum's staying on the top. Kyle, you have to carry on. Mum, can you dry my eye?
I can't.
That's it. That's. rain, even in the rain, anything. Better in golf, actually. Ain't no better. Well, we could get on the 5 o'clock GDZ, or you. Get on the 5 o'clock one, which is
Can't get on the 5 o'clock one, we've got to get home. There you go. Stop.
Oh, get on the 5. It's Monday, it'll be Monday. It's Monday. Well, we wouldn't be able, well, we wouldn't be there to speak to Angle to ask if we could take this onto our, unless we quickly saw him to see if we can, to see if he. Well, Peter might be out.
You move up to there, mate, so these,
Yeah.
this couple can sit there.
Move up.
Yeah, because there's no spaces. It's just
Angle never tells me to move up.
Thank you.
Go
Hang
on.
on, Kyle.
We can't wait for Angles.
Hang on.
Hopefully I can go, but it's.
Yeah, here we go. Well, do you want to sit next to Reese?
The mum goes. Gonna have it.
Yes.
The mum goes.
Right. You stand there. I'll go move.
Angles. Busy as well.
There you go.
Well, I wouldn't be busy
You
in
sit
this
next
one.
to you sit next to Reese. Okay.
It's on 5 8. It's scary going different actually.
Well, you can sit there next to me. That's it. At least you can dry off a bit now.
I might as well carry on filming. He'll leave in a minute. He'll. Oh, he went fast. Stop. Well, it might not have been having on Mondays. It wasn't this Monday. It was. Doesn't necessarily mean it won't be this Monday. Well, it was. Monday, it would definitely be dry. Monday, it would definitely. For Angles, it would definitely.
So all I had to do was walk across the street, I went to the mall, hobbled around, got some groceries, traveling.
10 people like
Down
Japanese.
and got on the bus stop.
Always been married, got GDZ adults. Because we didn't have to move to the top. No. Wasn't going to move Angles to get that way otherwise.
That way. Put that in there.
I reckon Monday it'll be angled twice. It's normally married. It can't.
Monday's going to be hot.
It'll be hot when we go on Angles. It'll be hot.
Very hot.
But might even be this. It depends if it it's working.
So let's see who's
When we
right.
get back to Bournemouth Pier, I'll ask Peter who's working Monday. I'll ask. We'll be back here. Who's.
Bus enthusiast Josh has liked it.
It isn't Marek. Oh, it's not Angle.
It's warmer down here.
It's not Angle.
It's warmer, isn't it?
Yeah, it is on this bus. Angle doesn't like this one.
Sorry, Reese.
Is this rattly from a bottom like VBM?
Let's have a cup of coffee. Yes, it's done. Come down hard again.
It's a good job we did move. Good job. Oh, he's looking at his speakers. They can turn it down, Jesus. Eddie.
Oh yeah, I suppose you don't want it loud all the time, do you?
They both trips. Got to.
2 minutes.
What's the time?
2 minutes.
58?
Yeah.
Oh, that means he left Bournemouth Pier a bit early then. And he leaves.
Huh?
He left early at Bournemouth Pier.
Well, no, it was 1 o'clock. Well, it was 2 o'clock now.
Not as loud.
No, you have to turn it down, haven't you? Let's try this couple.
It's not as loud as it's top. It's not
I'll give you a bath tomorrow. Saturday, yeah?
yeah.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of
Wonder whose bus will get on Monday.
Yeah, we started at Bournemouth, come here, then go back. Alright, here you are. No, it's £14, it's not past £16 otherwise. So we do a small concession.
Oh, we're getting ready. Didn't turn it on early this time.
If you have just joined us, welcome to City Sightseeing Bournemouth and to your tour of Bull Bay and Sandbanks.
You're filming again, are you?
Definitely.
Oh,
Stick
you
to
look
us
tired,
as it's moving
Kyle.
and ring the bell if you wish to get off. If you have any questions, please do feel free to ask the driver or tell me when the bus
What
is
is that?
stopping. The journey back to Bournemouth takes about half an hour and finishes back at Bournemouth.
My speaker don't work.
As we set
No,
off,
that one don't.
and the old lifeboat station and museum. Across the water, we can also see Ramsey Island and Sandbanks in the distance.
I want to watch Peter go. I want to watch. It's always got all seats. Seats.
We are now taking the route around Winter Park. The roads we are travelling on include Newfoundland Drive and Labrador Drive, referencing the strong links with Canadian missions. In 1497, a John Cabot was given letters by the king to go and see the western route to Asia.
And it's not as bad as this.
Where the waters were so teeming with fish, the boats were impeded. The discovery more than 500 years ago resulted in great prosperity for the town of Poole, whose fleet over time grew to more than 300 vessels. Often, vessels would spend 2 summers and 1 winter in Newfoundland, and large numbers of people from Poole settled there. And it is said the true Dorset dialect lasted much longer in the remote North American colony than it did here. If you follow the Harborside Wall, you will see the remains of a powder house, purpose-built store for gunpowder. After there was a fire on the Port Quay, very close to a warehouse storing gunpowder, it was decided that this was too great for the town, and that gunpowder should be stored away from the quayside. In 1775, the building was constructed on the shoreline of Beta. With only a small door and 1 small window, the walls were 2 foot thick, and the roof was of a light construction, so if there was ever an explosion, it would be contained within the walls, and only the roof would be blown off. Fortunately, its design was never tested. Across Beta Park on our right was a small island, joined to the town by a causeway that had an isolation hospital on it, a place where people with contagious diseases such as smallpox would come and be treated. In reality, for many, it's the place where their days ended. Nearby was also the site where victims of the Black Death were buried. The plague is understood to have reached its shores from continental Europe in 1348 through the port of Weymouth in West Dorset. Once infected, people would not become ill for 5 or 6 days, giving them the opportunity to spread the disease throughout the community. Death occurred in 60% of cases, and England's population shrunk by between a third and a half. Whilst the plague still exists in some parts of the world, it is now easily treatable and no longer poses such a threat. We cannot leave the shore of Port Harbour without mentioning the flying boats that were once a common sight of famous all-pie manufacturer Miller's. The bakery and pie factory was opened in 1937 and grew into one of the biggest pie and sausage roll producers in the country. Pigs would arrive and go into one end of the factory, and pies and sausage rolls would come out of the other end. It was said the only part of the pig they didn't use was the squeal.
Just as rattly as angles. That's right. It's not as rattly as angles, this one. Where's it from? Well, it's where they'll pop. C4, it's... Oh, that's your throat.
That's a full one.
It's been good. It's been good. I'm sweating. It's not very loud, this sweating. The heater doesn't have it loud. Almost down.
To your left is the main hospital for the area, with a busy accident and emergency department and specialist maternity suite. Every year, an average of 3,800 babies are born in the hospital. That's just over 10 a day, but it can be up to 20. Bournemouth Hospital does also have a maternity suite that deals with all Bournemouth babies that are early or experiencing complications during delivery. One benefit of a stay in Bournemouth Hospital is the fine views many of the wards have over Port Harbour.
Oh, it was Mark on that day.
Is that good?
Yeah. If it's a different driver again on Monday, will it be Angles and that other drivers? Yeah, Angles.
Well, yeah, 'cause that's more time.
Oh, so it'll be Angles as well. It's Peter on Monday. Yeah. So we'll have more time. Whoever's first. Would have had to go in the bottom of VB, and we would have had Angles. GDZ said to do so much.
County of Dorset, which is run by Dorset County Council, based at County Hospital. A few lesser known facts about Dorset. The County of Dorset stretches from Christchurch in the east to Lyme Regis in the west, and then up to Sherborne and Gillingham in the north. Not to be confused with the identity spelled Gillingham in Kent. It covers an area of about 100 square miles or 2,500 square kilometres. The county has 8 members of parliament, all are Conservative. The county has a population of about 750,000 people, of which approximately half live in Bournemouth. The council named Dorsetshire
His friend from what Marek is that, and he's Marek's the only vision
is grown in Dorset, and is said to be the hottest city in the
get on
world.
it if it's
It has an
built so
average
on
score
GDZ
of 123,000 Scoville heat units. The first
Can it
hospital
be changed?
Lyme Regis in 1826. It was run by Mary Anning, whose family found fossils from the cliffs to sell to tourists. Mary became an expert in the field, but couldn't join the Geological Society because she was a woman.
Hey, then it was to the scan. Jimmy the Gat and Hollywood Bowl,
As we make our way towards Bournemouth, we pass through Parkstone. There are two parts to this area.
And I'll be able to stay at the ambulance station till 7:30 again Monday evening in case people who knows on 7.
We'll be travelling through
What of 6:30 it was all the ones we didn't. Yeah, 7 again. We'll have time. That means we'll have to pay for a single on the 545 if we want to get the half 9. Angle's always half 9. Now it's always half 10. Well, if it wasn't paid time. When the man was half 10, it's going to be paid time. Always. Well, I can ask Peter when we get off he's working on Monday. I can ask. We'll still get half 9 on first. We have more times to Talent Park. But that's the end of this day is now full. Is it? Is it definitely? Yeah. We didn't go the usual way, right? I thought it was going to be a female jet. So he said it's out. Before he said it was out. I think Anthony said it was out. business tour in Bournemouth for 4:30.
It's got 15 minutes.
Were we able to watch him go again?
Yeah, then we've got to
We
get...
could never film GDZ when it's married.
And then we've got to go straight to bus.
Yeah.
The bus to get home.
Yeah. Or we would have had to ask Gang to take this while we would have. He probably wouldn't have done. He would have done if he told them what day you were going. Well, there's married calls has been chased. We might as well have asked him to take this one. Married calls. No more GDZ is off the road. It won't be. Never is. That's always VBJ has problems. It's never problems on that until VBJ. That is a new drive for this one, that is. This driver isn't. What did they go a different way on Monday? She's in the filming hushed. Is this one? Is this it? So, it is a safe driver and 2 little Route 30 today. It is. It is definitely not on. Never seen him have a half open. I've never seen. Oh, I was it's not coming to the VBJ out. As VBJ ever said, Hawking Sandbags a small one. Don't know. It said 6 or VBM as and there was an angles on this one out there. All of these put down the road. I'd be lucky to get this one again every night. No, it doesn't work every night. The day doesn't work. We'll be our next one day off. Oh yeah, okay. And last one day off. Disappointingly. So probably with GDZ. It would have been if it was a London just Scott on it, would have. Absolutely, yeah. It's worth it to see on it.
Road nearby Bournemouth, the area became popular as a place to live.
good on that angle, whatever. What do you mean to actually know it's a Swiss? He probably does, he always has it. Most of the speakers don't work on it. Unless that's why David never took this one. Unless that's why he took VBJ. Unless that's why I wasn't taking it. The speakers don't work. We're not far now, we're not.
Previous to LV, the building was home to Frizzell Insurance, and the roundabout is still to this day known locally to many as Frizzell Roundabout. There are a number of other large insurance and finance companies based in Bournemouth, the most notably being Chase.
On a Monday, you might see Angle. Oh, kids. And we'll get on Peters again if he's working. I'll ask him if he's working that day when we get off. Because he might have the rotor, he might have. If he says Malachil already confirmed his angles, imagine if he says angle and myself angled. Or angle and the arc. Oh, it's got new stop belt signs now. It's got the same ones as ankles now. It's got well, it did break last one. When Alec had it, it didn't have the LEDs, but didn't it? No, unless that was what it was going in for, unless I don't know. Didn't have the light up stop belts by then. Oh, that was a separate crossing, so you couldn't see.
To your left, spot the Tesco's local Skidders, an old church, and look at the impressive facade of the bingo hall.
I think it's called GDZ. Sight gets roadblock to Derek, which reflects the ink to new forest or sand.
A few miles to the north, has the longest runways in the south of England.
Yes, we did paints we went lost.
The airport opened in 1941 as RAF home, and as part of its wartime duties,
can do beyond this fancy.
We're not. Towards the end of 1942, it became a base.
Dried off now, my eye. I did dried off.
Some facts and figures about Bournemouth, its residents and its visitors. The population is approximately
Yeah, you can ask him. He was saying, I'll just say I know those drops are 6 size. I wonder if David's ever been on his bus. I don't think he has. I didn't know it, Steve. It's great. Yeah. Or was it his one? I think it has.
Is the most successful leisure facility
What's the time
in the
now?
south of England, with approximately
4:26.
1.5 million visits a year.
I have to say thank you to Peter when we go off. He looks like young Mark. Angle as his usual bus. He might have this one.
Since the time of the Romans.
Just
Where
imagine
what
we
is
had
now
this
was
one.
for many years common land between the two, given over to grazing.
Look at that
Much like the New Forest, the soil is very sandy and acidic,
One
no
month
good for
they
growing
will
crops,
miss
so
one
hay
more
and herding and grazing livestock. Its peatland still exists in the borough, most notably along the top of the Overcliff and at Haggersbury Head. The Dorset heathlands are home to all 6 of Britain's reptiles, 3 snakes and 3 lizards.
Monday it should be dry all the
The
tricks.
adder is England's only venomous snake, though rarely
Must
fatal.
do
The
6
grass snake is
sides.
the prettiest but stays well hidden, and the rarest of all is the smooth snake. The common lizard and the bigger sand lizard thrive on the heathlands and can be easily seen if you take a quiet, gentle stroll on a sunny day. Often found when the whole bits of tin, the smoke looks like a small snake, but is actually a legless lizard.
What one do you reckon it'd be this? The half-life it's been to an angle. I reckon angle. What a get a bit. People obviously different. Yeah. Oh, we'll be back for Tower Park if we get the first one of the day. Even though we do get 2 different buses, even though we do. Does it all work out? Oh, you get the halves, fine, spot on. If it's both angles, we'll be back early, how it is. Which won't really if it's both angles, yeah, it'll be 10 o'clock and 12, wouldn't it?
Which opened in 2003 at a cost
You can't do that aside this.
in the British construction industry.
Monday we won't be film sightseeing again, we won't tips. That's less video swap. Oh, it is. Only 6 sites. Marsh, Holmes and this Tom's one of my favourites. This one. It's raining again. It's quite good this Tom. I like it. This year we're not this. Oh, June sightseeing Oh, it's angry. Was it one of those on Wednesday? GDZ. Do you know the
University has in many ways acted as a catalyst for this, producing graduates who have gone on to take lead roles in a number of Oscar-winning films. The National Centre for Computer Animation continues to produce great talent. Not all of it leaves the town, and it was recently highlighted as having one of the healthiest communities in the UK.
This one it can be, yes. Engines are now done. Most people always go for the sofa. Oh, I thought I was angled then. I was about to say, what's he doing? I was about to say. So is he really something? Well, I could have taken a pick which one to go on. What one would have we got on if both of them were there? But I don't know. Well, we might have done that. There's no one on the top on the 50. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised there's no one on the top. Right then, it's VM. Business on that's St Margaret. It's not VM Lando. Probably come back. Oh, what's the other bus? What's that? Oh yeah, it's VM.
Which provides church capacity. Visitors
They got this video.
these buildings have found new uses. At the end of Westover Road, you will see some Peter's Church,
Got it.
largest in the town, and today still has an active occupation. The church had many famous connections, including Mary Shelley.
Your sponsor is working on that. And awesome. You might slip us dry the road. Yeah, normally goes in the shoulder, hey, not going to do a loud one.
We are now nearing the end of the tour as we come back to Bournemouth Pier. We hope you have enjoyed your tour today and thank you for travelling with City Sightseeing Bournemouth. Please make sure you take all of your belongings with you and hold on to your ticket, as it entitles you to 10% off any other City Sightseeing tour in more than 100 destinations around the world. Our sister operation, Discover Dorset Tours, offers regular full and half-day tours to the Jurassic Coast, along with Dover, the Isle of Wight, Stonehenge, and a number of other local and regional destinations. Please ask your driver today if you would like more information or pick up a free leaflet from the lower deck. Thanks again for travelling with us, and we wish you a safe and pleasant stay in Bournemouth.
Now it's in Bournemouth. Now,
That comes out of Bournemouth.
those two men paramedics.
That one comes out of Bournemouth.
So I hope Trevor grabs 5602. So,
It's gone R4.
has it gone R4?
We're late.
Is he not going to do the big one?
Because I want Marek.
If that was Marek, he would have done the big one.
Probably that phone. That's the old turn.
What was he beeping?
Just turning around.
That's
Turning around in the middle of the
grass.
grass.
Switch to big one if you didn't move.
Yeah, I would have done it as well.
Unless he doesn't like the people unless it hurts as it is.
Could do. Luckily, I weren't the big one, he did. Had to turn but the little one.
He held it down. Taps. When was he big?
Is there anyone getting on the 5 o'clock? Not many people getting on the next one. ticket seller coming now? Oh yeah, she's coming now, the ticket seller. Not many
Say
people.
thank you to that driver.
Yeah.
He did drive safe.
He's a really good driver, this one.
He's a good one as well as always.
Wait a minute.
Here we go.
Let's get off the seat.
I wish BBM. BBM would have been a lot easier to get on.
Or VBJ.
It's not BBM. Oh, good. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks again.
Hello.
You okay?
Hello. I saw you a couple of years ago, didn't
I
I?
know, you certainly did. I saw you a couple of years ago. Did you have a